Sir,
Come.
What sir?
Gautam Singh.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
गौतम, आपका डेट ऑफ बर्थ इसमें है, ठीक है. इंटरव्यू कब है?
सर 7th of April.
काफी नजदीक है.
यस सर.
तो पूरे तैयारी में होंगे अभी.
यस सर. यस सर.
अच्छा, यू इंग्लिश में हिंदी में?
सर इन इंग्लिश सर.
इन इंग्लिश.
यस सर.
Okay. So you have done your BTech in 2015.
Yes sir.
Since then, what is happening?
Sir, since then, sir, I have engaged myself continuously in giving tuitions to students, as well as I am also preparing for the same exam, civil services exam, and I have also been trying to engage myself with the studying process and trying to know.
So you did not want to opt for any job or anything. You wanted to be on your own, giving tuition and all that, is it?
Yes, sir.
You didn't try for a job also?
No, sir. No, sir.
I see. Tuition where?
Sir, initially I took tuitions in Lucknow, and since 2016 December, when I came to Delhi, I have started taking tuitions here, sir.
Tuition for who?
Sir, for students of class 9 to 12,
Okay.
primarily physics.
What? Physics?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So do you run a training institute type or what is it?
No, sir.
Privately?
Later on, sir, since the time of COVID, sir, I started working for an online platform, and since then, sir, I am working for that platform.
Okay. What is that about?
So it's about, sir, providing answers to the questions of students who put on that website.
Okay.
And I am paid according as per the numbers of the answers which I give them.
What do you think is the main reason for something like BYJU'S coming so much in prominence?
Yes, sir. So BYJU'S have economies of scale. Sir, they are operating on a larger scale.
How did they reach that scale?
Sir, initially, sir, they connected with the students through their free courses also, and they upgraded themselves. They continuously invested in good technology, which provided them a greater edge.
You think that can be sustained?
Sir, model is sustainable because, sir, it's providing the good kind of content to students, as well as those students who cannot afford, they're also getting they're getting nice kind of content in a very affordable cost.
So you think that practice can spread? Others also can come up and give challenge to BYJU'S?
Yes, sir. As we are evolving in the 21st century, sir, online platforms are coming at a greater pace, and there is a kind of constructive destruction also. So every platform has to upgrade itself continuously, sir. Then only they can sustain in this competitive world.
So do you think the classroom teaching becoming somewhat irrelevant in future?
Sir, we cannot say, sir, irrelevant, but it will lose its sheen, sir, to an extent.
Why?
So, because, sir, in case of online platform, reach is very larger. And for instance, a teacher can just teach 20 or 40 or 50 students in a classroom. But on an online platform, he can reach to global audience and global students. That would be an added advantage.
What about academic standards?
So academic standards, yes, sir, there are some concerns regarding, sir, quality. It has been found that quality has been compromised in some cases, because especially when many new platforms are emerging, and as the check and balances are very poor, so it's very difficult to maintain a quality control.
So would that call for a regulator for this segment also?
Yes, sir. Sir, as it is a emerging platform, so we need to give extra room to its spread, and also need to keep a check on it, sir.
There is so much talk about everything getting digitalized in terms of services to common man and things like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How far is it a successful practice? Is it working well all across the country, including different parts of the country or remote parts of the country?
So, yes, sir. Yes, you have highlighted, sir. The greatest challenge is, sir, there is emerging a digital divide, sir. Yes, sir. In urban centers, people can easily access all those services through internet and Wi-Fi. But in a rural background, people don't have access to such services, sir. So there has to be a greater push from the side of government, subsidize the equipments so that at least the people from downtrodden section are also benefited from this revolution, sir. So we need to ensure.
There is some talk about that BharatNet. Have you heard of that?
Yes, sir.
Where does it stand now?
So, as far as my limited knowledge is concerned, sir, the target was 6.5 lakh villages need to be covered, but presently, sir, the results are not up to the mark, and progress is going on, sir, in that regard.
Recently, there was some reporting about some tender process getting affected. Did you read that?
Sir, sorry, sir, I have not read this.
You have not read that?
Yes, sir.
Gautam, so you are a teacher,
Yes, sir.
plus of course a candidate for the UPSC.
Yes, sir.
So as a teacher, now digital world's coming. We
Yes, sir.
heard you talking about it. You've been in the mountaineering, you've attended a course.
Yes, sir.
Do you think extracurricular activities have any role now with all digital education coming? Are they really needed?
Yes, sir. You have highlighted very, sir, greater concern, sir. Sir, though we need to adopt digital platforms, sir, we need to spread this revolution, but extracurricular activities cannot be neglected, sir, because they are the one which provides the chance for socialization for the student. He need to get to understand leadership qualities. He also get to understand interpersonal relations. That cannot be done on a online platform, sir.
Well, there can be better programs,
Yes, sir.
better devised programs through pictures, movies,
Yes,
and
sir.
quizzes, riddles
Yes,
to educate you on the social interest relations. Can't there be?
Sir, that can assist, that can complement, sir. But unless a student comes on a ground, sir, unless he explores the things himself, till then, sir, online platform cannot be to that extent effective, sir.
Okay, you've been a teacher.
Yes, sir.
For the all-round development of
Yes, sir.
a student,
Yes.
and especially character building, what should we do to build character amongst the young people of India,
Yes, sir.
so that Indians are more honest, more sincere,
Yes, sir.
and less corrupt, like all the businessmen run away with our money. So what should we do for character building?
Yes, sir. Sir, as character building starts from, sir, at initial stage itself. First agency of socialization is parents, especially the primary attachment figure, that is mother. So the greatest thing is that we need to spread and sensitization that first parents need to be accommodative, and they need to be given some exposure regarding the kind of parenting that has to be given. For instance, authoritative parenting rather than authoritarian or neglecting styles. These need to be spread, and after that, sir, schooling also, sir. Teachers and from the wardens and patrons, everyone has to be sensitized.
But don't you think private, with the mushrooming of private
Yes, sir.
schools,
Yes, sir.
private institutions, you see, the character building is the biggest casualty.
Yes,
They
sir.
only want more money and more fees rather than interested in any character building of students.
So there are gradations, sir. To a larger extent, good quality schools are providing all those extracurricular activities also, exposure also. But sir, thing is that, sir, some schools especially in the
it's
lower
okay.
ranks, quality
Then
is not
You
there.
also said something about trading.
Yes,
What interest do you have in trading?
Trading,
You
sir,
use the word
tracking,
trading.
Sir, tracking. It's
Tracking, I
tracking.
thought
Sir,
you
it's
are
a
doing
full-
in
yes, sir.
stock market.
No, sir. Tracking
Tracking.
developments in Indian cinema.
What tracks have you undertaken?
Sorry, sir.
What tracks?
Yes, sir.
What tracking routes?
Routes,
I
sir.
thought
Yes, sir.
trading.
As in mountaineering, sir.
Mountaineering.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Which tracks have you
Yes, sir.
undergone?
I have explored, sir, 2 tracks. One was that, sir, when I went to Uttarkasi in Nehru Institute of Mountaineering, from there we made a point-to-point march and explored.
What inspired you to go there for trekking,
Yes,
for
sir.
training?
Sir, as I am from Scenic School, Lucknow, sir, it was a collective effort on part of our whole class, inspired by our principal Ranjit sir, Colonel Ranjit sir.
Okay.
And it was to get us exposure also, as well as, sir, to get ourselves trained and to
Did you not?
inculcate leadership.
Sorry. Did you not apply for NDA, which is
Yes, sir, I
mandatory?
applied, sir. I applied, sir.
Every Scenic School
Yes,
student
sir,
has
yes,
to
sir.
appear.
Yes,
I
sir.
think.
I appeared, sir, for India, sir.
Okay,
But I
okay.
could not clear the final, sir, counselling sessions.
All right. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Good,
Thank you.
So, you also have studied psychology.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me that how many kinds of happiness is there? Okay, some theories on happiness.
Exactly, ma'am. I'm not aware. Sorry, ma'am.
Okay. Can you distinguish between hedonism and eudaimonia?
Yes, ma'am.
Please tell me.
Ma'am, hedonism is kind of pleasure-seeking exercise in which individual excessively focuses on satisfying and gratifying his senses. On the other hand, eudaimonic happiness, as highlighted by Aristotle and others, is more of a higher kind of happiness in which we get happiness through kind of a self-actualization and exploring ourselves as the fullest.
So Aristotle, you named, he was a philosopher.
Yes, ma'am.
But who is the psychologist who has worked upon eudaimonia?
Yes, ma'am.
It
was largely, sir, ma'am, if I am not wrong, ma'am, humanist psychologists like Rollo May, Viktor Frankl, and Maslow, and Carl Rogers, they have emphasized on happiness, ma'am.
Okay, then how do you think this money is related with happiness? Which kind of happiness you can attain with money?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, especially in today's capitalist world, sir, money has become important, but ma'am, all happiness cannot be achieved through money, ma'am. Because unless we are satisfied, unless
no, this is a layman answer. I want an answer from a psychology person.
Okay, ma'am. Thanks. Sorry, ma'am. Ma'am, see, ma'am, money provides instant reinforcement, short-term reinforcement. It helps us in the gratification of senses. But for the long term, we need to achieve self-actualization.
So how do we achieve that?
Ma'am, we can achieve, ma'am, through constant upgrading ourselves, constantly striving for excellence, constantly achieving our greater goals in the life.
Who talked about self-actualization?
Ma'am, Carl Rogers talked about self-actualization. Sorry, ma'am. Maslow. Maslow
talked about it. He gave the hierarchy.
Yes, ma'am.
That's fine. I also would like to know, okay, if you say that money can just satisfy our senses, and it is a gratification, not eudaimonia, then do you think that our incentives should be non-financial instead of financial incentives?
Yes,
how do you think it is going to help?
Ma'am, it depends upon individual to individual. Ma'am, as every individual has different needs. To an extent, for some individuals, ma'am, financial gain can be an incentive, and for other, the kind of praise can be an incentive. Intangible reinforcements could work better. Ma'am, it depends on individual to individual, ma'am.
So, what will you do as an officer?
As an officer, ma'am, I will contribute my abilities, my skills, and my psychological knowledge, as well as my work experience through teaching. I would provide my services to the...
No, how will you like to contribute this knowledge of financial and non-financial incentives into your work? Let me be specific on my
I got the question.
Yes.
Ma'am, as a public servant, we would be required to engage with the people to deliver our schemes, as well as require people for a constructive work. In that case, ma'am, this reinforcement would be suitably utilized as the requirement of the people and the persons with whom we are dealing with.
That's good. My last question. How will you really do that, motivating people for the constructive work?
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, that would be, ma'am, first, I need to set examples myself also. I need to provide them a kind of role model who they can look for. As well as I would engage community leaders, I would engage credible people in that area where I would be working. And by that process, also suitable reinforcements would be given. Thank you.
Gautam, you are involved in digital teaching.
Yes, sir.
I believe China has banned any private investment in digital teaching. Yes, any Baiju kind of a company cannot be there in China.
Okay, sir.
You think it's a good idea, and why did they do so?
Sir, exactly, sir. I have not read the news report, but sir, such actions would, to an extent, reduce the competitive forces. That would be counterproductive in the longer run, sir, to the country, which they are doing so.
Because these platforms are so expensive.
Okay, sir.
In the rural areas, there are two issues. One is the technology, whether you have the line, you have the internet. Other is the content.
Okay, sir.
So the argument is that the government with millions of teachers, they should develop the content and give it free to the people.
So,
Why? What do you say to that?
Sir, idea is good, but sir, that would reduce local competitiveness as well as it would hinder the flow of free flow of ideas, sir.
But NCERT books are there. There's no competition. Everybody, all the 12th schools, it's all there. Only one set of books. Think about it.
Okay, sir.
Okay, you are psychology. At least you have taken it as a paper.
Okay, sir.
Do psychological profiling of Vladimir Putin.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Sir, his personality traits would include being a very enthusiastic, open person, adventurous, and as well as
What do you mean by open?
open in the terms of being open to hobbies, being open to explore himself, sir. And also,
if I say he's a showman, not open, he's a showman, bare-chested and all that.
so to an extent, sir, it also applies, as you have pointed out. That is.
Okay, go on. Some other
sir.
trait.
Apart from that, sir, he could also be seen in a negative light, sir, as being in a present context, being a initiator of a war which is going on between Russia and Ukraine.
So in personality,
Yes, sir.
and
That would
some
be
one or
kind of
two-
aggressive personality.
Aggressive,
Yes,
okay.
sir. And apart from
how
that,
does he treat his opponents?
sir,
Give some example. How has he treated his political opponents?
sir, as far as sir, Russian recent history is concerned, it is largely found that opponents have been buttered or they have been silenced down with the use of force. Sir.
What personality trait does it? Can you name the
Yes, sir.
opposition leader who has been imprisoned?
Sir, exactly, sir. I'm not aware of
Navalny.
this. Okay,
So
sir.
how does he treat his opponents? I mean, what
Yes, sir.
personality trait does it
Yes, sir,
reflect?
yes. Sir, it reflects, sir, that once is that being aggressive, I pointed out itself, but it also shows the person's childhood upbringing, sir, his socialization. His socialization is like that from initial phase of life, he has been exposed to violent.
You are giving explanation of that behavior, but how will you term it?
Okay,
How
sir.
will you say that, like he's cruel or he is kind, like that?
Yes,
In
sir.
one word, one or two traits you give.
Yes, sir. One is, sir, that already, sir, pointed out, sir, aggressive, but apart from that, sir, he's also, sir, impulsive.
Vindictive.
Yes, sir,
Vindictive.
Okay, sir.
Vindictive.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. In Pakistan, India, we got partitioned in 1947.
Okay, sir.
Over the years, 70 years, there have been several agreements, etc., between India and Pakistan.
Okay, sir.
Can you name some, and if possible, chronologically?
Okay, sir. Sir, initially, when India became independent, sir, after that, sir, in a post Bangladesh war, there happened a similar agreement, sir.
Go before that.
Before that,
also.
sir, Tashkent agreement, sir, happened in Uzbekistan.
Even before that, there were one or two very important agreements.
Sir, presently, yes, I am not able to recall, sir. Sorry, sir.
Have you heard of Nehru-Liaquat Pact?
Yes, sir, yes, I heard. Sir, it's regarding, sir, that treating minorities of the opposite countries in a well manner and keeping their
Have
safeguarding their
you heard
interests,
of
sir.
Indus Water Treaty?
Yes, sir, interest order. Yes, sir.
Tell us something about it.
So it's about, sir, sharing of the 6 rivers which are flowing in the northern part of India, especially in Jammu Kashmir and the Punjab region, sir. So
There is a public sentiment in India
Okay,
that India should violate the Indus Water Treaty and stop flow of water
yes, sir.
to West Pakistan, to Pakistan. If you are Foreign Secretary, what will be your advice to the Prime Minister?
Sir, sir, as once there is a disentanglement between India and Pakistan, then the common people start clamoring that such action should be taken. But as an advisor to the government, sir, I would not give such an advice because, sir, if we block the water of Indus, ultimately we don't have the capacity to store that water. As well as, sir, that would create a hydroseismicity also in our Jammu region, sir. Apart from that, sir, it will also turn our people-to-people contact in a difficult situation. That would be counterproductive for us, sir.
Do you think India-Pakistan relations can ever be smooth in next 10-15 years?
Yes, sir, they can be, sir. But efforts have to be taken from both the sides, sir.
From Indian side, what effort is required?
Sir, at present, keeping in the view the present situation, sir, least we can do is at least solve the Siachen issue as well as Sir Creek issue, as they are low-hanging fruits, sir, as well as
in Siachen, what should be done?
So in Siachen, sir, sir, gradual withdrawal of troops from both the sides, and the areas which are contentious, they can be sorted out, sir, as early as possible.
Can you trust Pakistan, who occupied Kargil Heights? Once you withdraw, if they come back, then you will never be able to take them out.
Sir, yes, that is a genuine concern, but
you remember 71?
Yes,
what Bhutto did?
Yes, sir.
Anyway, let us leave it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Have you heard of this Ken Betwa project?
Yes, sir. Yes,
what is it?
Sir, Ken Betwa project is part of, sir, interlinking of rivers in the Bundelkhand region in order to resolve the crisis of drought over the years which has been happening, sir. And it is the ongoing project, sir, and further work has to be done, sir. It's still in a moving situation, sir.
Give us an idea of how does Ken flow,
yes,
how does Betwa flow,
yes, sir.
What is the linking coming about?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
Yes, suppose we have no idea about that.
Yes, sir.
So let's understand what is it
Sir,
about.
Betwa is on the western side of Ken River, and Ken River
It's on the other side.
is other side.
Ne?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Very simple.
Sir,
That is not
apart
what I
from that,
meant.
Sir, oh, sorry, sir.
What is the flow of Ken? Where does it originate? Where does it
Yes,
flow?
sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
What about Betwa?
Yes, sir.
What is the distance between the two? Where is it going to get connected?
Okay, sir.
And which part of Bundelkhand will get benefit?
Yes, sir. Sir, it is the origin region is falling in, sir, Panna National Park, and the connection would provide a greater availability of water in district Jalon, district Hamirpur, and parts of Jhansi. And sir, this is all, sir, I am aware.
So it will be a canal system.
Sir, probably, sir, canal is the available from there in that region. Sir.
You have not followed what the project is about, right?
Sir, exactly, sir, I am not, sir, aware about, sir.
Okay. Now I'll move on to one other area, since we talked so much about happiness and all that.
Okay,
I am little confused. There is something called a happiness report,
Okay, sir.
right? Have you heard about that?
Yes, sir, I have heard about this.
World Happiness Report,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
There is another report which says India is among top 25 happy countries.
Okay, sir.
No, don't say okay. If you heard about it, then tell me.
Sir,
if you haven't heard, then there is no point.
Sir, this the exact number, sir, I have not heard, sir, but report I have heard that UN SDSN provides the report of global happiness.
In that, where do we rank, and how are our neighbors placed? Any idea?
Sir, if you allow me, I can give a general idea, sir. I don't have exact
It's up
figures,
to
sir.
you to give a general or a specific
Sir,
idea.
Sir, I think, sir, we are ranked at a lower position, sir.
Little lower means lower to what?
Sir, on a sir, extreme lower side, sir. Not a very happy country. It is concerned. Not a very happy country, sir.
Are we higher than China, Sri Lanka, and all, or lower than China,
Sir,
Sri
exactly,
Lanka?
sir.
And
I
all?
could not recall, sir, right now, sir. Yes,
You have
sir.
not followed that.
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
No, sir.
Do you know what goes as inputs into this happiness measurement?
Yes, sir.
What goes into that?
Sir, sir, exactly, sir. I am not able to recall, sir. Sorry, sir.
Okay, good. So we conclude the interview here.